This is Daniela Cambone, and welcome back to our Outlook 2022 series. The tipping point continues here, and my guest today says that crypto's true test is here. He says cryptocurrencies were born as a result of bad economic decisions. They were built to survive fiat currency inflation, as well as present investors with either a hedge against poor central bank decisions or an outright alternative. So now with the rising money supplies and economic uncertainties, how will Bitcoin perform? Please welcome back to the show, Eric Wade. He is the editor of Crypto Capital and of Crypto CashFlow. I have a lot of questions for you here today. Let's
Okay.
start. We're going to cover not all cryptos. There's too many to cover, but we'll focus in on a few. We got to start with the most popular one, the biggest one, Bitcoin. It's having its worst start to a year in history here. But you're not coming with bad news for Bitcoin. You're optimistic.
Very optimistic. I actually think that a lot of the macro factors that usually investors either have to make tough decisions around or can outright spook investors, like rising interest rates, et cetera, inflation, things like that. And those can be really tough to navigate the minefields of them, because sometimes inflation means growth. And we like that, but do we, right? And depending on where you are in your own investing, what your portfolio looks like, you may be thrilled by the idea of growth and interest rates heating up, et cetera, or you may be kind of spooked by it. And I think cryptos, which are built with a lot of different facets that you can turn to, technology when you need that, or anti-inflation when you need that, et cetera. I think they're going to really come into their own this year because of the fact that investors who, like I say, you don't necessarily know where to turn. You might look at a currency that, sure, it's volatile. You can't get rid of that. We know that, right? You know that. But then you look at the inflation and you look at the growth of adoption and you look at just how many different things are being built on cryptocurrencies, and you think to yourself, sure, it hasn't really been tested in a high inflation environment, but maybe I'm willing to put 1%, 2%, 5% of my portfolio into something that was specifically built for this. Just like nobody spends every dollar they earn on life insurance, but it's an investment you still have to have, right? But if you do it right, if you do the proper proportion of your portfolio into something that was specifically built for the challenging times we've got in front of us, I think it'll pay off for people.
Right. And that's really the crossroads where Bitcoin is at now. As you say, it either has a chance to shine, but like you said, it hasn't been tested in this inflationary environment. Now, you're obviously bullish Bitcoin, but let me ask you, are you only going to be judging performance based on price action, or Max, I had Max Kaiser on, who says he doesn't want to focus on price. He's looking at adoption, the technology growing. Are you looking at all these things, or do you expect a breakout in price here?
Okay, that's $1 million question. Part of me always expects a breakout in price, because Bitcoin is certainly capable of that. And I think we've had so many other interesting uses of the technology of blockchain. You take, Ethereum, and then everything that followed on with that, all the smart contract coins. And I think that we're in this age now where you're starting to hear the word DeFi in a broader and broader circle. And so certainly we've got this ecosystem that anyone can build anything. And then there's Bitcoin. And Bitcoin it's like a marble statue, right? That once it's built, you don't want to change it. And then everything else is coming and going and changing fast, crazy little coins. And then there's Bitcoin. And so our industry has had to learn to sort of, Bitcoin, all it does is change price. Sure, it's being adopted, and sure, there's lots and lots of people, including companies and countries, that are now saying we have to own a piece of that. But
That's
the
right.
only part that people can change is the price.
Right.
So
right.
Max, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but that was a great interview. Max and I see it similarly there, in that everything that's changing around Bitcoin is interesting, and the price is the least interesting part of it right now. Now that can that can, I think, maybe sometimes mislead people who only look at the price into thinking the price is safe. No, I think what I see, and probably similar to what Max sees, is these prices, ups and downs, that's baked in to Bitcoin. So when I see something, like I started to saying, the macros are really in favor of Bitcoin. And what I mean, and cryptocurrencies, what I mean by that is I was looking at the quarterly, the ending of 2021, the last quarterly report of the Bank for International Settlements.
Yes.
And it doesn't get any more big money than that, right? Any more macro than Bank for International Settlements. And when they're starting to talk about DeFi and they're starting to talk about, the technology behind cryptocurrencies and what it can do, that tells you a lot right there. That's what we're watching for.
I'm so happy you brought that up and dug that up in your newsletter, because that could really fall under the radar of a lot of folks. But so important, because you say the attitude shift that we're seeing, and at the top level, the Bank of International Settlements, where they've matured from, we got to fear and run from crypto, has completely evolved. So if that message from the top has changed, this is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's statements in there even that are saying things like, similar to bank this and similar to bank that. And you think, okay, that's where we wanted to be all along. Actually, superior to bank is where we want to be in the future. But I think 2022 is a great year for cryptocurrencies for that reason.
Moving away from Bitcoin a second here, I want to talk about decentralized finance and how will the progressing blockchain projects combat high gas fees seen on the Ethereum network. And you write, for example, Frontier just announced integration with Binance Smart Chain and PancakeSwap. Anyone who has paid high Ethereum network fees will appreciate DeFi with lower fees and faster transactions. Is this going to be one of your main focuses for this year then?
Absolutely, it is, because not only that, but Ethereum is supposed to be finally shifting over to proof of stake middle of this year. And I say finally because it's taken quite a while to get here. So maybe it will, maybe it won't. It looks pretty good, but when it does that, then that'll drastically reduce fees that investors pay for any kind of transactions like that.
Want to ask you about Solana. A lot of hype and excitement surrounding this cryptocurrency. Are you excited for this diversity of choice that we're seeing aside from Bitcoin? What are your thoughts on currencies like Solana?
I actually really like the variety and the ability that anybody that wants to start something can, and that could be an individual with a good idea, or it could be a VC, or it could be a bank. And I know that may be not the most popular opinion in cryptocurrencies. A lot of people really want to stick to their lane and really want this to be, my project is the project or the best. And I'm very open-minded about it, because I think that the technology that we're developing by being able to punk rock some things and orchestrate other things, I think it's definitely beneficial to us to try new things and see what works.
So let me ask you this, Eric, because you obviously have an open mind. You embrace, multiple cryptos, but to the Bitcoin maximalists out there that say, how can you embrace these other cryptos? They're not really decentralized. It's not really providing you freedom. What's your response to those folks?
Pickup truck, Ferrari, convertible, right? If all you ever see as being the absolute best mode of transportation is a dump truck, then you're going to have trouble parking it. And I'm not saying dump trucks are bad, and I'm not saying Ferraris are bad, but if you need to move furniture, you don't use your Ferrari. And if you need to, park at the beach or something, you don't use your dump truck. And they both have value. And you're not wrong to be a Bitcoin maximalist. You're not. Part of me is, and I know that throws people off, but part of me really is, for what it does. And when that's what you want and that's what you need, is the absolute strongest network ever built by humankind, there's no comparison. There's no comparison whatsoever. But if you want to try some experimental technology to see if we can improve things, we can. I'll look at that. I'll look at that.
I like that. I like your open mind, and I love the analogy you just brought up there. Okay, Eric, tell me the next hot thing 2022 in the crypto space? What should we be looking at?
I'm looking for what most crypto people are going to be bored to tears by. And that is that is folks who are maybe in the 80s and 90s and 2000s. There was people that were planning on making 8% to 10% to get them through retirement. And now that's gone. It's vaporized, not even junk bonds pay that. And crypto, DeFi and staking, et cetera, we're paying that and then some last year. And we even have cryptos that are saying 2 million%. And that, I think that spooked a lot of people that were normal investors. But now we've got this great confluence of normal investors who are saying, okay, interest rates have shot up to 2 or 3%, and yet crypto interest rates have maybe come down to 8, 10, 12%. It's not so ridiculous. When we were comparing 0% bank rates to million% crypto rates, it was ridiculous, right? Only the most risk willing to take risk people would make that jump. But now as regular interest rates creep up and most of the solid crypto rates are creeping down, I think there's going to be people out there that are thinking, hey, maybe I can afford retirement off of crypto, off of DeFi. Absolutely, and that comparison is going to be better.
Okay, you have a great track record. I'm not here to embarrass you, but one of the cryptos you picked last year, saw 10x roller coaster up. So can you tell us, I'm not gonna say your top 3, but like one crypto that you're eyeing or you think we should be paying attention to?
Wow. Well, we already mentioned Ethereum. I absolutely like that. And I love Bitcoin at this price. So those are the easy ones. But yeah, I think I'm going to stick with that for this year. I think those are the 2 most important, that if anybody hasn't built up a full portfolio of those, let's stick with those for now.
On that note, Eric Wade, I know you got to run. You had a short window today to join us, but thank you for those insights on the crypto
absolutely
landscape.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you all for watching. You can learn more about Eric's picks and his thoughts in his research notes for Stansberry Research, Crypto Capital and Crypto Cash Flow.